Today on Hearts of Heroes, an intense storm threatens Dallas, Texas with a menacing forecast.
The news was talking about possible tornadoes and hail.
Overnight tornadoes raking the land.
It started getting loud, glass breaking, trees cracking.
Then, miles away, a young mother is about to give birth, but this delivery wasn't going as expected.
She gave us a couple of pushes, and then all of our phones in the room started going off with an alarm that said that a tornado was on the ground.
Danger can often hit without much warning, but rescuers are always ready for whatever shows up.
Tornadoes are certainly one of the most frightening natural disasters, especially when there's more than one. And in this case, near Dallas, Texas, there were 10. One of them had wind speeds up to 140 miles per hour. Cars were tossed, homes were shredded, and thankfully, first responders and medical professionals helped so that everyone in Dallas survived.
Dallas, Texas, this iconic city in the heart of the Lone Star State, does everything bigger.
We have everything here. There are ranches that are close by for horseback riding. There are lakes. We have football. We have everything here. It's a very, very good community.
But Fire Station 37 Lieutenant Ed Mannon knows that this metropolis of millions has one less than enviable item on the list. Dallas is in Tornado Alley.
We do have them. They haven't hit in Dallas too much, but they've seemed to started happening more frequently in this area.
And one Sunday night in October of 2019 would bring several tornadoes. One of the hardest hit areas, a Dallas suburb called Preston Hollow.
I think it's the most harrowing experience I've ever been through.
For Philip Devlin, his wife Tina, and daughters Courtney and Aaron, the day started with some challenges.
Tina and I had gone to church for a baptism for a colleague, and coming out of church, my wife broke her foot. So we spent part of the day in the emergency room.
We got home about noon, and I finally emerged from having my foot up above my heart for about 5 hours.
Over at Station 37, fire department teams were well aware that severe storms were about to hit Dallas.
The news was talking about having bad weather coming through. They did say some stuff that could be possible tornadoes and hail.
But as the Devlins casually watched football, neither heard news reports to take shelter until Tina's phone lit up with a call from her youngest daughter, Erin.
I'd seen the lightning outside. They had said there's a tornado warning. It's at the tollway in Royal Lane, and they live on Royal Lane. And so I've said, it's right on top of you.
Right at that point, the power went out, and her phone call dropped.
Tina rushed to the interior hallway as Philip ran to close some blinds.
Within a minute, it started getting loud. I could hear glass breaking, trees cracking. As I was coming back to join my wife, the roof fell in on the ceiling in the living room. And as I dove into the hall, the chimney blew off.
Guys, this is no joke. Tornado in Dallas. Holy cow.
In that split second, Tina and Philip were under siege. It was all from an EF3 tornado with winds up to 165 miles per hour, strong enough to destroy buildings.
When or if facing a tornado, experts say that if you can't get to a basement or cellar, the safest place is a small interior room on the lowest level. Stay away from windows, doors, and outside walls. And most importantly, protect your head and neck from flying debris.
I couldn't put any weight on my foot, so I crawled into that closet. I peeked out the door, and the ceiling was completely gone. All I saw was sky.
It was nothing but chaos, flying debris, and I just hunkered down. She wasn't anywhere near me, but I could hear her screaming.
Once it started coming across the news, I started frantically sending text messages and phone calls. Nothing was going through.
In that chaos, daughter Courtney's cell phone had recorded an eerie message from Tina.
Courtney! Courtney! Hearing the sheer terror in my mom's voice, I was 100% sure life as we knew it had changed in that moment.
Both daughters rushed to get to their parents.
To take off having no idea what to expect and feeling so powerless, we don't anticipate this is ever gonna happen.
As quickly as the destruction hit, there was suddenly quiet and a skeleton of a house with the Devlins trapped inside.
My wife was on the other side of a door in a closet. I found her. The door was blocked. I had to force my way into that room. I got her out of the closet into the hall where I was.
I looked up and the ceiling was cracking where we were laying, and I said, I think we need to get out of this hallway because we may lose that ceiling. So then we crawled up to the front entry.
We went to the front foyer, and I forced the door open, and when I did, I saw a 10-foot high pile of debris.
Coming up, Dallas fire crews have their hands full, rescuing people in multiple twisters.
One had already touched down. That's when we started noticing that there's some damage up in our area also.
But first, something to keep you safe.
There's an old saying, expect the unexpected. This especially applies to natural disasters, since they often strike when you least expect them.
For example, if you're not at home when a flash flood hits, always follow the same safety guidelines wherever you are. Get to higher ground and be prepared to evacuate, if told to do so.
Regardless of where you are, safety precautions are there to protect you. Be smart and be safe.
The night sky in Dallas, Texas was a swirl of danger.
There it is, tornado on the ground, there we go, tornado ripping through Dallas.
At least 10 tornadoes, including an EF3, had touched down in October of 2019.
I think our first run came in about 9:30, and that's when we knew it was on the other side of town where we usually don't respond to, and we started heading that way.
Lieutenant Madden was dispatched to the north where a twister had passed through, but as the team tried to drive out, they were stopped at Preston Hollow.
We didn't make it to the other town. We got stopped due to debris and the streets and all the damage and stuff, so we had to stay where we were at and search and rescue there.
Even rescue teams were stunned by what they saw in the wake of the 17-mile path of that tornado.
A lot of damage everywhere. People walking around trying to figure out what was going on, what they needed to do. We just started leapfrogging to search each house and do the best we could do at that time.
Luckily for Tina and Philip Devlin, who were trapped inside their home, Madden and his team arrived just in time.
I had a little flashlight, and I was blinking at them and said, help, help, and one of them quickly came up to the door and said, is anybody injured? And I said, my wife has a broken foot, not attributable to the storm, but she's immobile. And they said, we'll take care of that.
When a home is destroyed by a natural event like a tornado, search and rescuers arrive and often put themselves in harm's way to get victims out. It's a job not suited for the faint of heart or weak of body.
The difficulty is being able to get all the clutter and all the debris and stuff and get around it where we could get her out safely without getting ourselves hurt also.
As soon as they came in, it was just a peace that came over me. I was still shaking, and the fireman kept saying, now relax, relax, just please relax.
Because of her injured foot, rescuers had to devise a plan to lift Tina out of the rubble. They used the tried and true tag team method.
We had 2 guys carry her to the front door, another 2 guys grab her from there and lower her down the porch, and another 2 guys carry her from there to the front yard.
I knew that I had these strong, compassionate men trying to save my life and get me out of there.
Neither Tina nor Philip were injured in the forceful chaos, and for their daughters, Courtney and Erin, that was the greatest miracle of all.
The most comforting thing to find as we were driving down Royal Lane is that there were first responders here. It was surreal. I came up here and I saw Mom laying on the driveway. I mean, the car was probably still moving when I just jumped out and ran up. Your brain's not thinking, but your feet are just moving. To put my own eyes on them to realize that, like, they are here, they are okay. I even, like, checked my dad over and I was like, let me see all your arms, your legs. Like, do you have any cuts? Did you fall?
Then, the next day, reality set in. The Devlins had lost their home.
I never really cried or anything until I looked at it in the daylight. And it is just really hard to look at these things. This was our favorite room in the house.
They were not alone. Other houses in Preston Hollow were leveled. And amazingly, no one lost their lives that night. Crews were right there throughout the night helping victims.
I think there's at least 15 to 20 houses we went through that night on both sides of the street to make sure everybody's all right. From the time we started searching, we were there for a good 3 or 4 hours before we were relieved from that incident and dispatched to other spots in the city to go help.
As Preston Hollow continues their rebuilding process, survivors and first responders gathered to discuss what they went through on that fateful day.
This department came running. When everybody else is running out, they're running in.
You always wonder if there's your Superman that's going to be there when you get in a really horrible event, and these were our Superman.
You can hug them.
When everybody's running out, you guys run in. And I think that is so brave and courageous. And I just love you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
Give it out.
Thank you for everything that you do. My little piece to add is that until I got the actual call from her saying that at least one of my parents and then both my parents were okay, there was a period of time in which I thought I'd lost them both. And as soon as I heard that y'all were there, I felt calm. We were in the right place, right time, but I think there was a higher power that had you there. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And if I may, Phil, what would you like to say? Because obviously, there you were, worried about your wife, and all of a sudden you see these guys showing up.
I can't tell you how much it means to us that they walked into that house not knowing. Me not knowing whether or not Tina was even alive until I pushed through that door to get to her.
Here we have 4 people obviously so grateful for what you guys do every day.
I think firefighters or police officers, we don't take, if we have the opportunity to be with our families, we're going to be with our families. And don't waste the opportunities to show how much we care and love them. So when we do go to work, if something does happen, hopefully it doesn't, then we've done everything we possibly can. It's just part of life. It's just different that our job requires us to get on these trucks and go do something to help other people. And we sign up for it. That's what we do.
And thank your first responders. Don't pass up the opportunity to do that, because you'll need them one day, I promise.
Thank you. Thank you.
Coming up, the Dallas tornadoes put more heroes to the test.
I knew there was a storm coming, but I never once thought a tornado or that we should be worried.
25 miles east, twisters threatened a birthing center, and one mother's delivery wasn't waiting for the weather to clear.
In October of 2019, a series of tornadoes ripped across the Dallas area. Fire crews were responding to all of the calls from the city to the suburbs when a new emergency unfolded at a birthing center. As if being a new mom in labor doesn't come with enough unknowns, this poor woman added a tornado threat.
Guys, this is no joke. This is a tornado touching down right now.
Fire crews across Dallas were responding to neighborhoods hit by multiple tornadoes. 25 miles east of Preston Hollow, another emergency was unfolding at a birthing center.
We take care of women from the beginning of pregnancy all the way through pregnancy, and when it's time to have your baby, you come here.
Casey McElhaney, along with 2 midwife students, were fully prepared to help a first-time mom bring her baby into the world.
I was around 41 weeks. I passed my due date. And everyone kept on asking, when is she coming? When is she coming? This baby doesn't want to come.
But on that October day, Metch's baby was ready to make her bold statement.
By 3 p.m., I started having contractions at home. So I called the birth center and they asked me to check in by 5 p.m.
This was my primary patient under supervision, and so I was in close communication with her.
It eventually came to a point where I was like, I think you should go ahead and come in.
By the time I got there, everything was set up. The whole place was all cozy.
The plan was to ease the expecting mother along in preparation for a natural birth.
The day was really pretty, normal day. We labored with the mom. did all of our normal stuff, making sure she was okay, making sure the baby was okay.
And everything was going just as planned, until 4 hours into labor when the clock struck 9 p.m.
Once things were getting more serious with the labor, you could hear the weather getting a little bit more rowdy outside.
She was on the bed, we were filling the tub. She gave us a couple of pushes, and then all of our phones in the room started going off with an alarm. And when we checked them, it said that a tornado was on the ground near here.
And I remember looking at Casey and just being like, I think this is serious, because like I've never had that go off on my phone where it said like, take cover now. And I could see the wheels turning in our head that we needed to act fast.
And suddenly, the power went out. The midwives could hear the sounds of sirens.
The electricity ran out, and we heard the sirens going off outside.
The midwives remained calm and decided to take matters into their own heroic hands.
Student Jordan mentioned, I think we need to go in the laundry room. It's the only room in the middle of the house. It has no windows. And then my other student, Lindy, I told her, just go find every flashlight and candle that you can and birth supplies and just get everything set up. And we didn't really tell the mom yet because we didn't want her to freak out.
Coming up, despite a tornado swirling perilously close, this baby was coming.
I could feel my heart beating like, what are we gonna do?
But first, another safety tip.
Do you and your family know the 5 Ps of evacuation orders in case of a natural disaster?
Number 1, people and pets are the biggest concern. Number 2, papers like important documents. Number 3, prescriptions. Number 4, pictures. And finally, number 5, your personal electronics if possible.
The 5 Ps are an order to follow and not a list of items to grab. After people and pets are cared for, only take the additional items if you have ample amount of time to do so.
A fierce storm was battering Dallas, Texas, and a number of tornadoes had already done damage, tearing through homes and businesses. Over in a suburb called Rowlett, a team of midwives was prepping to deliver a baby in the middle of all this.
It was beautiful, sunny, normal day. I guess that's what everybody says before a catastrophe.
But when their phones lit up with emergency warnings and sirens started blaring, the women knew they needed to act quickly.
Once we realized that it was actually supposed to be coming right towards us, we had to make a game plan.
When it first happened, I could feel my heart beating like, what are we gonna do?
The plan was made. Move mom-to-be out of the bedroom and into an interior safe space. The team headed to the laundry room.
We grabbed all the candles around the birth center and took those in there and made sure everything was laid out the way it needed to be to best take care of the mom and baby.
I was in active labor, about to push the baby. I won't say I was really conscious. I didn't know what was going on.
As the strong winds howled outside the birthing center, Casey had one concerning thought.
It's still gonna be safer for them to be in this laundry room than it is in a vehicle in the middle of a tornado.
Without hesitation, the birthing team went to work, bringing a new life into the world despite a looming tornado.
Once we got in there, it was just this calmness of, it doesn't matter what you're feeling. It doesn't matter if every house around you is getting knocked down. It doesn't matter anymore because there's nothing that you can do to change it.
She just kept on encouraging me through contractions and everything. She just kept on saying, you can do it, you can do it.
Going into the zone of like, we're getting this baby out and we're okay. And so the energy was very intimate, hot, and exciting.
I didn't look at it like, oh, there's a tornado, I'm in candlelight, no. I was just like, okay, I'm strong, I can do it, I'll push the baby, like just what they kept on telling me.
And luckily, the storm passed without incident, just as Metch gave it one last push, a baby girl, who she promptly named Sekani.
Her name means joy. Sekani is actually from Malawi, which means joy. I call her my miracle baby. Through the chaos, I was so calm. I just wanted to meet my baby, and it's just so amazing.
And for the fast-thinking hero midwives, it was a chaos worth delivering.
We've all become so much closer through that experience. Just knowing we can all rely on each other, and we hear each other, and we work together, and it's nice.
First responders are true pros at expecting the unexpected. It makes them unique, as does the point that when the danger level goes high, they remain calm. That is just one of the reasons we want to say thank you to all first responders. And I want to say thank you to you for watching. I'm Ginger Zee. We'll see you next time.